Welcome back, folks, to Let's Play Pokemon Crystal. No Pokecenters, no Marts. In our last episode, we finished up the majority of the grinding for Makar and Bellsprout here, or Makar and Second, the Geodude and Bellsprout that we caught in the previous parts. Togepi also hatched, and we've made it all the way to Azalea Town, so now we can start proceeding with some plot line anyways here. So we talked to this guy, and apparently his name is Kurt, but he's a guy who can make Pokeballs for us, so it's definitely a feature that we're going to want to look into a bit. Either way, it says here that some rockets are in Slowpoke Well trying to cut off some Slowpoke tails and sell them, so this guy's not too happy about that, and we're going to go find out if we can help him out. So he headed off to Slowpoke Well, and we're going to quickly follow him. So here he is, and he says, "Hey there, Andrew, the guard up took off when I shouted at him, but then I took a tumble down this well. I slammed down hard on my back, so I can't move." So this guy who was all ready to run and go take care of these guys falls down the ladder, hurts his back, and makes us do all the dirty work. So slightly unfortunate, but whatever, we're gonna have to deal with it. Either way, Quilava is easily gonna demolish anything that we encounter here. We get a quick attack thrown on us, but nothing that we really can't handle. We'll return with an Ember there, and finish off the Rattata. And up next, I think he has another Rattata. Hopefully that one doesn't quick attack us, so that way we can just one-shot it with Ember. That'd be really nice. And we don't take that unnecessary damage, and of course it doesn't, so that's definitely great, and definitely be content to Ember it. Clearly that critical hit didn't matter because the first one wasn't a crit, and we did finish it off very cleanly, so perfectly fine with that, and we can proceed here. I think there's a hidden item here. I guess not. Maybe there's a hidden item later on that I'm thinking of. Either way, I was about to run from that trainer fight thinking it was a wild fight, but apparently not. So we'll finish off this Zubat here, and we do get Supersonic, which is a bit unfortunate. I guess I could use my Bitter Berry, but I feel content that we should be able to hit here, which we do, and we do finish off the Zubat without too much trouble. Confusion is a status I definitely would rather avoid, but sometimes you just have to work with it, and luckily we got the good side of Confusion hacks there. Unfortunately, we don't get it there, and we do take an extra hit, and we also get leered, which is a bit unfortunate, so I could be in a bit of trouble if I do stay confused here. Which I do, but I do get the Leer or the Ember off, and perfectly fine with that. Seems to be a 2-hit KO. Hopefully we don't get poisoned as well, and we do, which really sucks. So I think I'd much rather use up the Poison Cure Barrier. We do have 3 of them. Be on the safe side here. We do take a Leer, which is fine, and I think we should be able to snap out a Confusion right here. So I feel content with that. And we do use an Ember, which should be able to get the KO for us, which is nice. So Confusion did put me in a bit of a bind there, as well as Poison, so the double status definitely hurts, but we were able to work around it because of all the items we already had in our bag. So if I have to use an item, I'm going to. It's just part of the run. I'd rather not use an item there, but whatever. Just gonna have to come to accept it. We're gonna end up having to use them at some point in this run. Luckily for us, this Rattata also doesn't quick attack us, which is nice, so we are able to stay at a comfortable amount of HP there, remaining at 15, and hopefully this Zubat doesn't Supersonic us and get the Confusion. That'd be fantastic. So we've got a couple Leers, or a couple Embers left, and I'm definitely going to want to make use of those right now. And it doesn't get the KO, which is slightly unfortunate. But the Zubat is using Leech Life, which is resisted, so it only does 1 point of damage, and I'm perfectly fine with that. We should be able to finish this off with Tackle here, and quickly move on. Quilava also gets the level up, and at that level, I think 17 is where Cyndaquil would normally learn Quick Attack, or maybe it's 19. But because we're evolved, we don't get that extra PP, but that's perfectly fine with me. I'm content to get it elsewhere, or get it at that later level and be fine. Since I noticed that Ember almost KO'd, I have a feeling that Tackle should be able to get at least a 2-hit KO, which is why I go for it there, and I get another Tackle off, so Perfectly fine. Zubat doesn't supersonic us, which is a bit of a pain sometimes, but I'll gladly move on. So we've only got one guy left, and one of the things I never knew is if you talk to these Slowpokes, they say some things like, this Slowpoke has its tail cut off, and if you talk to this guy, it says he has his tail cut off, but he also has mail. So if you read the mail, it says, be good and look after the house with Grandpa and Slowpoke. Love, Dad. So I don't know exactly who that Slowpoke is referring to, but just something I noticed when in some testing, that I talked to that Slowpoke and he said some things to me about some mail and stuff. So as you can see, there's a boulder there that's blocking the path to proceed later on, and so we may come back here. I think there's some pretty good items that we can pick up later on once we get access to Surf and Strength, and so that's something that we're definitely going to want to try and pursue for later parts. This coughing, unfortunately, is level 14, which is a something that we're going to have to deal with, but not too much trouble for us. We've got a couple embers and a couple tackles that should be able to take it down with ease. Luckily for us, Smog doesn't hit. That tackle does minimal damage, and we should be able to get out of here rather cleanly. So coughing goes down, and Xerxes gains his extra levels, or gains some pretty good experience there. So I think he should be ready to take on the gym pretty soon. Either way, we've finished off the members of Team Rocket here. Kurt comes along to heal these Slowpokes, and this is basically the third auto heal I was talking about that was coming up, and because of that, it's unavoidable. You finish Team Rocket, and Kurt automatically heals all of your Pokemon. So it's just something we'll have to accept and move on, but that's just the case. So he's gonna thank us for helping him finish off Team Rocket there, and as a result, he's gonna give us a Lure Ball. The other aspect of Kurt that is pretty useful is that he can turn apricorns into Pokeballs, and as we just recently found out, or as we just recently picked up on the end of our last part there, we picked up a white apricorn, which can turn into, I believe, a fast ball, if I'm not mistaken. Someone can correct me if I'm wrong, but either way, he can only produce one per day. However, in Crystal, if you have multiple apricorns, you can get more than one ball. And I figure, because I'm on a limited source of Pokeballs already, because I'm already limiting myself to only one berry pickup per tree, I feel that I at least should be able to use some of the apricorns to turn into balls via the Kurt method, and have it be okay. So if you guys... So I want your guys' feedback on that, what you guys think about using Kurt, and if I only use the apricorns I pick up only once, if that would be perfectly content with not using Marts, not buying anything. So I do feel like if I'm going to be catching some guys and naming them for you, I want to have those extra resources just to be able to ensure that I can do that. And so being able to turn apricorns into Pokeballs is definitely something that I'd rather have, just for your guys' sake, to just have it be a little bit more enjoyable to have some guys nicknamed after you. So I feel having those extra resources, considering they are given for free, doesn't really impact the run in the long run of things. So either way, we can now proceed to the second gym here, now that the Rocket is defeated, and because of that, we can pretty much clear out this gym mostly with Cyndaquil's Ember. It's a pretty powerful attack, at least this early on, and because it's a stab move and super effective on these bug types, we should get through here pretty cleanly. If need be, we also have Geodude as backup, who has Rock Throw, which is super effective on a lot of these bug flying type guys, and something that we're definitely going to want to take advantage of here. So Xerxes does get his extra levels in though, which is very nice. I think level 21 is where he learns his next move, so we want to try and manage our PP now that we've passed all the auto heals, I guess, to where we try and use up our PP to the point where when we're going to learn a new move, we can get rid of a move that we've already lost all the PP for. So it's all about managing PP and grinding up accordingly here, at least from this point on out. So as I was saying, these trainers here don't really give us too much trouble. One Ember should be able to take out almost everything in this gym, except for maybe the gym leader's Pokemon. We'll have to see. Maybe I can get lucky and deal with them relatively quickly, but more or less, the path to the left is probably the most advantageous route to take. I do want to try and skip this trainer here if I can, so maybe I can get him to turn, which I do. And here's Bugsy, so I think both ways lead to 3 battles, but that way seems to be the most consistent and better for us in the long run of things. So, here we go, the second gym leader, Bugsy. He's got, obviously, bug-type Pokemon, and a lot of people are confused about the gender of Bugsy. They don't know whether he's a guy or a girl, and I myself am a little bit confused about what he actually is. I think it's a guy, but I'm not too sure. I can't remember what he was in the anime, or what he was, what this gym leader was in the anime. So you guys can tell me if Bugsy's a boy or a girl. I don't really remember. Either way, Ember should be able to take care of his first 2 Pokemon here, Metapod and Kakuna, without too much difficulty. As I said, fire basically destroys bugs, at least in this gym, and in most cases in these games anyways. I have a bit of a choice to make here though, because what I can do from here is I can either let Quilava take on Scyther, or I can let Makar take on Scyther. Makar has a 4 times effective move to Scyther, so I'm kind of leaning towards him. And the other thing is, Quilava is going to be used for a lot of the other parts of the run as well, so I want to get Makar to really shine, at least in these early fights. So here we go, we're going to use Rock Throw. Hopefully, at least maybe Yoko, probably 2-hit KO this Scyther. And it's a 1-hit KO, which is very nice, so a clean 1-hit KO with Rock Throw. So I'm definitely in favor of that. So there you go, second badge. Makar's already level 17, which is very nice, and definitely a place where we want him to be for some upcoming stuff. So we received the Hive badge, and we can now proceed through the rest of the forest here. Now that we have this though, it allows Pokemon up to level 30 to obey us, and I think Trainer's Pokemon can now obey us. So I think that means Onix. We also received TM49, which is Fury Cutter, which is kind of weak. It's got a base 10 power, but its power increases as you continuously use it. It does have a chance to miss though, and if you miss, you lose that combo going. So it's almost like Rollout without the without being forced to continually use it. So you have to make a conscious choice to use Fury Cutter, whereas Rollout forces you into using it every single time unless you miss or switch out. So one of the reasons that we did train up Bellsprout is for this upcoming fight, and it's a very important battle. If we don't have Bellsprout, we basically lose because we have almost all of our Pokemon weak to something that we're about to fight here. So we take one step out of town and oh crap, what is this? It's our rival. So he apparently heard about our efforts in taking down Team Rocket, and he wants to test out how good we are. So hopefully we can respond relatively well to what he's got to show us. And I think what I should have done here is probably started off with Geodude, just because he's got a super effective move on Ghastly. And so nevertheless, I think I'm gonna feel content staying in. Maybe we can get a 1-hit KO off Ghastly. I'm not sure if we can. Unfortunately we don't, and he does get that Hypnosis off, which is slightly unfortunate for us. However, we did pick up an Awakening, and actually I feel content with not wasting that Awakening. We've got enough HP there that I don't really feel too much of a danger from Ghastly. The only really offensive move he has is Lick, which should be doing minimal damage to us, as you can see there. Does 3 damage, and I feel like we could wake up before Lick can really do us much harm. The other thing is, because we're already asleep, I don't fear the paralysis from Lick, and therefore we're going to wake up and we're going to be able to attack it without taking too much damage from these Licks. Unfortunately, we get like a 4-turn sleep already, and hopefully we wake up this next round. I feel like taking all this extra damage is kind of hurting me in the long run, but nothing that we shouldn't be able to deal with. And like I said, we keep taking this damage, so hopefully we can finally wake up, and we get a 5-turn sleep, go figure. Which is a bit unfortunate, me taking that extra damage, but whatever. It's better to conserve those awakenings for when I do actually need them for some upcoming stuff. And just tank the damage in the meantime. Either way, outcoming is his Crocodile, which has a newly found stab move in Water Gun, which is basically why we need Bellsprout. Bellsprout resists the Water Gun, where Water Gun would likely OHKO, or at least 2-hit KO, both Makar and Kolava. Therefore, we're going to try and abuse our Vine Whips here to do as much damage as we can on this Crocodile before Bellsprout bites the dust. So hopefully we can get an extra bit of damage here. It looks to be a 3-hit KO with these Vine Whips. That Leer kind of hurts as it does force us to take some additional damage from Crocodile's scratches. Hopefully Scratch doesn't crit us, which would hurt, of course, but luckily it doesn't. And we do get our 3 Vine Whips off and easily KO Crocodile. So essentially what we were training Bellsprout out for, it essentially did its job. So right here it's learning Poison Powder, and although Poison Powder is useful in some sense of the word, in this run I feel like Growth is probably a little bit more useful, and Sleep Powder definitely is more useful as far as catching Pokemon is concerned. Definitely having that status on there. I'd rather have Sleep over Poison because Poison's likely going to kill something. So we're going to pass on Poison Powder here, unfortunately. It is a downside, and I guess it could ultimately replace Growth in some sense, but I'd rather Growth is going to be replaced by another move coming up, so it really didn't matter. It was either going to be Poison Powder or the move coming up, and I'd much rather have the move coming up. So here we go, and unfortunately we do get Supersonicked by Zubat, but because of Geodude's high defense, I feel like he should be pretty safe even with this confusion. So we do take that extra bit of damage, which is a bit unfortunate. I really hate confusion. And so Geodude may take some extra damage here, and we get a flinch. So we got Parafusion, or Flinch Fusion already going on here. Fusion Flinch? I don't know. Whatever it's called. Hopefully we don't get flinched too much here, and it is a bit unfortunate. We're getting crit, we're getting flinched, and oh my goodness, this is absolutely retarded. So I'm definitely not going to want to deal with that any longer. We'll take the extra damage with Kolava and just finish him off with Amber. Makar, you needed to get the work done there, and you definitely weren't stepping up where you needed to, so unfortunately we get confused with Kolava here as well with another Supersonic, and I'm not going to want to take that extra damage, so we're going to go back to Geodude, tank some damage, and finish off with Rock Throw here. Hopefully we don't get flinched, and we don't, and Rock Throw lands. So Geodude unfortunately is already down to 3 HP post the auto heal, so we're in a bit of a pickle here, and we're gonna have to see what we can do about this. We do have some healing items, which is great, but I'm gonna need Geodude for some upcoming stuff, so we're probably gonna have to expand a couple healing items on him just to get up to the point where I need him to be. Either way, we can now proceed through here, and I think this lady gives us an item. If not, no. So we're just going to proceed through here. Either way, Elix Forest, regardless of the time of day, is always dark like this. So whether it's night, whether it's day, it just always looks like this. And this Farfetch'd belongs to that trainer back there. So we're basically going to try and return this Farfetch'd to its owner. Nevertheless, I'm going to avoid these wild fights because it's basically just a waste of PP at this point. Our Pokemon are at a point where any experience gained in these fights is likely not going to matter to us. You would think that there's a hidden item up here based on how this ledge is arranged, but simply not the case. We're just going to proceed around here, and if we talk to this Farfetch'd, we should be able to scare it back towards its trainer and into its trainer's hands. So there you go, Makar. You also get Farfetch'd, one of your other favorite Pokemon featured in this episode. So, we don't need to talk to that guy though, we want to talk to this master here, because he's going to thank us for returning this Firefetch to his kid. And he's also going to reward us with HMO1, which is cut. So that's going to allow us to proceed through the rest of this forest, but we're going to have to save that for the next part, folks. And one of the things we're going to want to do before we proceed through the rest of Elex Forest is, if we leave this forest, despite those trainers being behind us, if we leave through here and proceed just past the gym over here, those guys belong to this house here. And this guy is like the charcoal maker or something like that, so if we talk to his kid, he thanks us for helping us with his Firefetched, and he rewards us with a charcoal, which is a fantastic item for our Quilava. It's going to power up our embers, it's going to make us a little bit stronger. Unfortunately, I would have rather had that charcoal prior to fighting our rival there, just to get that extra damage in. But that wasn't the case. We have to get it afterwards, because we can't enter the forest without beating our rival first. So in this part we got quite a bit of stuff done. We took down Slowpoke well, we got our second badge, and we took down the rival fight. So hopefully you guys have appreciated all the work that we've done as far as this episode is concerned, and hopefully it makes up for the past few episodes where it's mostly been about grinding and gaining those levels. Either way, the story should start to pick up here, and of course I end with a random wild fight. Anyways, we're going to save the game here, and in our next episode we should be able to proceed through the rest of Elex Forest and maybe get to Goldenrod, so that'd be a fantastic episode, and hopefully we can get all that stuff done. Either way, it's been a great time, and I've enjoyed this episode with you folks. Hope to see you guys next time. See you later. Peace.